Hey, what's up, guys? I do want to talk about a New Year's resolution, but I do want to talk first about the last 3 or so years in review. 3 or so years because that's how long I've been married, and all the things I've been learning while I've been married have been really awesome, really great. Um, Mostly due to the challenges of being married, which is some see people say you were never fully prepared, and then in the marriage you come across trials that will force you to be better than you were, which is a good thing ultimately. And I have faced quite a few, and I do feel I am a way better person than I was before. The first couple years of marriage, I think, was all about getting my finances right and getting myself on a good career path. Obviously, I'm an artist. I've been an artist for a long time, and I didn't want to be part of the starving artist meme. And I wanted to really get everything going in a good direction. So I was freelancing for the first year or so only, I started to feel the inconsistency and difficulty of it. I still do it, but I picked up a day job as an art teacher and soon became the manager of an art studio where we teach kids. Um, Really praying that that business continues to thrive in this coming year. Um, but just sort of supplementing my income with that has been really good. So I'm basically working two jobs: one at home where I still work on my own personal things, commission work, freelancing, working on sales more now, and in the afternoons after school, going to work as a teacher. So that has been my journey so far, as like career wise. But this past year has all about it's been all about building systems. I watch a whole lot on YouTube. I was watching a lot of like business and finance stuff. I really started out with like those, quote unquote gurus. And because when you get desperate, you start looking up for ways to make money, and it's like, okay, what are some ways I can do that, especially as an artist? And I found a lot of good things, and I found a lot of useless things, and I found a lot of like quote unquote gurus with quote unquote knowledge or whatever and experience. But from each of those person, like I do not regret listening to people. I don't know, people like, I guess, Dan Locke, you would consider one of those gurus who like writes a book and tries to sell it. I know not to buy anything. I know not to, pay for overpriced classes and stuff. But from each person, I was able to see where the holes were in what they were teaching, and then look deeper, and you start to find like real good resources. People like Benjamin Graham. I'm reading a book from Sam Walton, who developed Walmart. Like, just the experience and grind of Sam Walton is really awesome. People hate on billionaires and stuff. I'm not really a hater of that kind of thing. I understand that there is inequality in the world. Um, but I want to talk about like the system that I've learned, and it sort of covers all this. I've learned that, I'm sort of, I really enjoy having a single-minded focus on like very few principles, and if I can, as long as I obey those principles, I feel like um, I want to just have a few that will basically solve life for me. I know they're general and abstract. Think of it as like a Ten Commandments type thing. Like, have I know there have been more than 10 commandments if you actually read the book of Exodus. There's 10 commandments followed by a bunch of other rules for like how to sacrifice animals and stuff like that. But um, the first 10 are like really good life rules and have basically created like a really good moral system for modern society. Obviously, not complete, because you got to actually read the whole thing, but it's a really good basis. I've been thinking about how I can build a system with very few principles to guide my own life, and I've come up with like one really solid equation that will govern that I think can govern most good behavior, especially for myself as a teacher, a businessman, and now a father. I think it's like I think I've been really into quantum physics. I've been really into just learning about the world and universe and how things operate on large scales and small scales, and you start to see patterns about how the world works. And if I can apply that to my life, um, if I can sort of mirror the way nature is, um, I feel like it's a very successful model. Now, what I'm starting to see is that there's sort of a great caloric engine, is what I how I call it in my head. It's like a very grand idea, but if you just think about waves and photons and how energy flows in the world, it's always flowing. It's flowing all around us. You see how electrons spin. You see how galaxies spin. At all levels, there's like a lot of energy, and it's constantly spinning and it's constantly moving around. Um, and we get energy, the way we move around. Like, the only reason our DNA wants to propagate itself is well, I basically this is weird to talk about, but I'm basically kind of finding the meaning of life in a way. And it sounds like I'm finding some crazy answer that can answer life for most people, but no, it's not for all people. This is something that's helping me. It's an answer for me. And I'm finding the meaning of life for myself, and I feel it's very awesome for me. So I want to take part in the Great Caloric Engine, and what I'm learning is that calorie throughput is like a really solid concept that can build my life around. Because if you think about it, I eat things of nature. I eat the salad and plants, and animals eat the meat, and then animals eat the plants, and I eat the meat and stuff like that. And then I die, and then it's basically the carbon cycle is what I'm learning. Like, and energy flows through us. Energy that we gather usually from the sun and from the dirt in the world, but energy constantly being added by the sun. It's all energy and photons and joules and calories flowing through us. And what I've learned is that if you take that energy and you convert it, we all have an energy input and output. In fact, the universe being computational is a lot of inputs and outputs, and a lot of things can be described as functions and equations, especially functions. That's like a really big one for me right now, learning about functions in math. A function is a series of inputs and outputs, or just an input and an output. It doesn't even have to be a series. And that's kind of how our bodies work. Our bodies work as a function of the universe's rules. And one big way that our bodies work is the energy input and output. And I learned that if your output leads to input for other people, that's like a really solid way of living life. So if you just think about that, energy is flowing in, spinning around in the universe. We absorb it by eating things, and then we put out energy. And if that energy we put out contributes to other people's energy input, basically what I'm saying is that if your energy output serves others, if it can give them food, but not just food, but anything that they value, you basically have solved what I feel to be a good way of living life. Um, I basically, I believe I've created a moral system by looking at the the systems in the universe, the functional systems in the universe. Um, and it feels very profound and deep, but for me, I don't think it is. I think it's very simple. Because I'm trying to sort of find the truth. I think looking at the truth is all about cutting out the fluff and just looking at things from their constituent parts. And that's why I enjoy quantum physics and all the mysteries in quantum physics and the mysteries about the universe, and the things that are not yet discovered. I like looking at the cutting edge of this of the research, and what I'm finding is the patterns. So that's all I wanted to share about. Obviously, what you're what you're watching is footage of me drawing, just drawing. But yeah, my New Year's resolution is to really execute. I have a lot of plans. I'm always thinking. I feel like I've built a very good system in Excel, which I've talked about, um, and it's so good, but not successful yet. I feel like it's very well built, but not successful because I don't execute on the ideas that are built into the system. The system basically tells me what to do. It tells me how to allocate my time, and I feel that the principles by which it's choosing tasks to allocate my time to is very strong. But I have to do it. I have to listen to it. I have to listen to what past me is telling current me to do. Um, and I feel that it's well based in truth. I don't. I ever since I've grown up, I don't like being told what to do, and it's hard to listen to myself, even when I know that past me is probably right. So executing based on a plan is something very difficult for me. I've always been sort of a go with the flow kind of guy. Um, but I think it's a good thing. I think I'm sort of incorporating both those ideas. I have a plan that tells me to go with the flow, and I'm talking about the flow of energy in the universe. Um, yeah, it all seems very mystical, but I hope that the execution of these ideas results in something tangible, in all the things that I talk about coming true. I'm not talking about some law of attraction, mystical manifesting thing. I'm not even though I'm religious, I'm not even talking about religion. I'm talking about things that I can observe and do. Like, I'm talking about bringing my ideas, the stuff that I've figured out, or I'm trying to figuring out. trying to figure out and turning it into real action. I'm talking about behavior patterns. I'm talking about doing. Um, and I don't want to stop thinking, but I've never had a good balance of thinking and doing. I'm always thinking more, not doing enough. Um, and it's all about behavior patterns, the execution of behavior patterns that I've set out for myself. That's my New Year's resolution. Um, yeah, that's all, guys. I will talk to you soon. I love you all, and I hope you have a great, happy New Year. Bye bye.